Wisely. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Opponents semi-fascists, liberals do have a tendency to say quite often, vote for us or else. The latest, comedian Kathy Griffin in a truly unintentionally hilarious tweet. In fact, this might be the single best joke that Kathy Griffin has ever told. She wrote, "If you don't want a civil war, vote for Democrats in November. If you do want a civil war, vote Republican." Seeing as the left's biggest state, California, can't even keep its power grid running, I think we're prepared for a civil war. Welcome to the Dan O'Donnell Show. I am Dan. If you'd like to join the program, our phone lines are always open. 414-799-1130 on the AccuNet Mortgage Talk and Text line. You can reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on Twitter, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. And you can watch the Dan O'Donnell Show streaming live on YouTube. Just search for Dan O'Donnell or Dan O'Donnell Show. I promise, as long as you don't search Daniel O'Donnell, you won't get that Irish singer. And here we go with another day of broadcast excellence, or at the very least, and far more likely, broadcast competence. And let's start it off with one of the last chances to win a trip to iHeartRadio Music Festival. It's our flyaway contest. We are playing through this Friday, and your chance to win is right now. Just text the word music, MUSIC, to 200-200. You've got until 55 past the hour to text the word music to 200-200. If your text is picked at random, you will win a round-trip airfare for two to Las Vegas prize pack, including 2 nights hotel stay, ground transportation, tickets to both nights of the iHeartRadio Music Festival on September 23rd and 24th, just a couple of weeks from now, plus a $1,000 gift card. If you enter this contest, you'll get a confirmation text and information. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. Coming up later this hour, we try to answer the question, what is a MAGA Republican? We are on day 7 of the Biden administration, essentially trying to answer that question and backtracking what has become one of the low points, I think, in American presidential history. President Biden's ridiculously red-lit Independence Hall speech in Philadelphia, in which he seemed to cast 74 million Americans who voted for Donald Trump in 2020 as semi-fascists and dangerous threats to America. But we actually took his claims at face value. What does he define a MAGA Republican as? The answer? Well, it might surprise you. First, I'm absolutely loving an actually hilarious joke that's running around the internet right now. Unlike Kathy Griffin's pledge to start a civil war, I'm thinking it would be absolutely perfect if there is a new civil war in this country and the Robert E. Lee of the American left is Kathy Griffin, leading an entire brigade of soy boys whose pronouns are Z, Zer, and Zers. An actual funny joke is, what is the difference between the Titanic and California? The Titanic at least managed to keep its lights on as it was going down. I want to take you back, ladies and gentlemen, take you back about 2 months to those halcyon days around the 4th of July. I know I'm feeling a little bummed out that summer's over myself. 4th of July, it seems like forever ago, doesn't it? Especially in California, when the governor, Gavin Newsom, was feeling so good about himself and so good about the state of things in California that he actually cut an ad in Florida telling people to move to his state.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is targeting Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and GOP lawmakers in a new ad scheduled to begin airing on Fox News today.
It's Independence Day, so let's talk about what's going on in America. Freedom, it's under attack in your state. And Republican leaders, they're banning books, making it harder to vote, restricting speech in classrooms, even criminalizing women and doctors.
Governor Newsom released the ad on his Twitter account, which criticizes DeSantis and the GOP of new legislation targeting LGBTQ rights, voting rights, critical race theory, and abortion. In the ad, he also invites Floridians who are fed up to move to California. So far, Governor DeSantis has not reacted.
All right, so that was 4th of July weekend. Let's flash forward to Labor Day weekend. What's Governor Newsom saying now?
Run your air conditioning earlier in the day when more power is available. And we encourage you to close your windows and blinds to keep your home cool as well. And today and tomorrow afternoon after 4 p.m., in particular 4 p.m., please turn your thermostat up to 78 degrees or higher and avoid, to the extent possible, using any really large appliances.
For the second time in as many decades, California's power grid is on the verge of a complete and total failure. So to avoid rolling blackouts or rolling brownouts, Gavin Newsom is telling Californians to conserve energy, saying, turn your thermostat up to 78 degrees. There is a massive heat wave that's just boiling California. Can you imagine how hot 78 degrees inside a home when the temperature outside is about 110 degrees would be? I can guarantee you the governor's mansion is sitting at a frosty 68, 69 degrees. This, of course, the same governor who, while he was pledging that all Californians needed to heed lockdown restrictions, was partying at the French Laundry luxury restaurant. Remember, he originally said, oh, yeah, we were outside. We were following COVID guidelines. Nope. Rules for thee, but not for me. Now, what is the reason that California is so close to an absolute meltdown in its power grid? Well, if you believe the media and if you believe the Newsom administration, it's because of climate change. Headline in The Hill, climate change overwhelming California power grid. No, it's struggling to achieve basic service levels even without extreme weather. Why? Because California over the past 10 years has doubled and even tripled down on renewable energy. This from the American Conservative. California has been more aggressive than any other state in setting renewable energy targets, currently aiming to be 60% reliant on renewables by 2030. 2030. Unfortunately for its ratepayers, these renewable energy suppliers rely on billions of dollars in subsidies and still cost more per kilowatt hour than other forms of energy. Solar and wind are also irregular compared to more old-fashioned power plants. The result has been unreliable electricity supply and some of the highest power prices in the nation. And even though California is in the midst of a heat wave, back in May, when energy officials were first warning about rolling blackouts later in the summer, they projected shortfalls even if there weren't wildfires, even if there wasn't a heat wave, just a general California summer would be too much for the power grid. And the problem is basic competence, A, in planning and B, in execution. Pacific Gas and Electric has been beset with the same sort of bureaucratic bloat and high official incompetence as any other government-subsidized corporation or government entity. Not only that, the over-reliance on unreliable sources of energy has proven disastrous. But let's take you back again, another flashback back to May. Now, we're told that no. And in fact, Vox.com has an explainer out just in case ridiculous conservatives like me start to call into question over-reliance on solar and wind. They said, no. Here's an explainer on why renewable energy is not to blame for the rolling blackouts. It's climate change, right? Well, I want to take you back to May 5th of this year. Big headline, and I mean big headline at Bloomberg.com. California's all-renewable moment shows the future of America's power grid. On the last day of April, California hit a milestone. For a brief spell during a sunny Saturday afternoon, renewable sources met 99.87% of electricity demand. So back in May, when everything was going swimmingly, when there wasn't increased demand because of increased temperatures, and the end of April is warm in California, but nothing like the end of August or early September, then we could say, well, the over-reliance on wind and solar is great because we've got a 100% renewable source of energy. The green movement is showing the future, and California is showing the future of what America can be. But suddenly, it's climate change. It's not the problems with the power grid itself, it's climate change when things go wrong. The problem is, of course, that while wind and solar power are fantastic in theory, in practice right now, the technology that we have to harness them are simply not equipped to handle America's or any state's or really any particular region's power demands. California moving too aggressively toward those because of ridiculous pie in the sky green energy goals is costing its people dearly. Now, I want to give you another flashback. Not to the 4th of July, but all the way to 2018. Then President Donald Trump gave a speech to the United Nations in New York in which he was laughed at by foreign diplomats when he made this warning.
Germany will become totally dependent on Russian energy if it does not immediately change course. Here in the Western Hemisphere, we are committed to maintaining our independence from the encroachment of expansionist foreign powers.
Like, say, Russia. Video of that speech cut to the German diplomats who were all having a good laugh as Trump was speaking. The Washington Post at the time actually ran a headline entitled, "People Actually Laughed at a President. At UN Speech, Trump Suffers the Fate He Always Feared." This, for those who don't remember the Trump era, was pretty typical of reporting at the time. It was all about knocking the president down a few pegs. At the UN General Assembly on Tuesday, Trump got a comeuppance on the world's biggest stage, delivering a speech that aimed to establish U.S. sovereignty over the whims and needs of other nations. The president's triumphant moment was marred in the first minute when he was met by laughter at his expense. Thomas Wright, a Europe analyst at the Brookings Institution, said, Trump has always been obsessed that people are laughing at the U.S. president. From the mid-'80s, he said the world is laughing at us. They think we're fools. It's never been true, but he said it about every president. It's the first time I'm aware of that people actually laughed at a president. I think it is going to drive him absolutely crazy. It will play to every insecurity he has. You see his claims that Germany would be at the mercy of expansionist foreign powers like Russia because they didn't up or didn't keep at a sustainable pace their own domestic energy production of fossil fuels, natural gas, and so forth. How dare he suggest something so insane, something so ridiculous, something so laughable? Flash forward to this morning. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen.
This is what is expensive, because in these peak demands, the expensive gas comes into the market. So what we have to do is flatten the curve and avoid the peak demands. We will propose a mandatory target for reducing electricity use at peak hours, and we will work very closely with the member states to achieve this.
That's right. In all European nations, there will be electricity and power rationing. That would include, yes, Germany, just as Trump predicted. Now, of course, the European Union is blaming Russia and naturally blaming climate change, but they have only themselves to blame, like California, for over-reliance on non-reliable energy sources. In California, wind and solar. In Europe, wind, solar, and expansionist foreign powers, the very sort that Donald Trump was warning about. Your phone calls coming up next when the Dan O'Donnell Show continues.
The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for the Lynch family of dealerships. Lynch is looking to buy your used car now. Lynch will buy you out of your lease and will pay up to $2,500 over Kelley Blue Book value. Before you make your next car payment, before you make your next lease payment, stop by any of the Lynch family of dealerships in Kenosha, Burlington, Mukwonago, and West Bend, or go to shoplynch.com and click on the Sell Trade tab for an instant cash offer on your vehicle. All makes, all models, and remember, if you're over on your mileage, if you're afraid of excessive wear and tear, they'll purchase your leased vehicles and pay up to $2,500 more than Kelley Blue Book value. Even if you're not in the market to buy a car, Lynch is in the market to buy your car. Visit shoplynch.com.
Violent crime is on the rise across Wisconsin. Homicides up 70% from just 3 years ago. But if you think crime is bad now, Mandela Barnes will make things much worse if he gets to the Senate. Barnes supports eliminating cash bail even after the Waukesha Christmas parade attack. That lets dangerous criminals go free. But Mandela Barnes won't stop there. He supports amnesty and sanctuary cities for illegal immigrants and had worked for a radical group that supports defunding the police. And while Barnes insinuates that police officers are racist and white supremacists, he spent hundreds of thousands of your tax dollars on security for himself. Mandela Barnes, wrong on crime, dangerous for Wisconsin. Reject Mandela Barnes for U.S. Senate. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Attention all business owners who rent or lease space, including storage space. Stop wasting your money paying someone else for your space. You can now save a ton of money and own your own building with the incredible sale prices from General Steel. That's right, start saving money every month on renting space from others. Just call 888-74-STEEL to see how General Steel can help you save money. Our 50-year structural warranty buildings are custom designed for your needs and save you a ton of money. Call 888-74-STEEL.
Take it from a successful entrepreneur. If you need to expand or start a new business, you need General Steel.
Great team and the competitive pricing is the reason I went with General Steel.
Call 888-74-STEEL now, and you can get any of our popular quick construction structures, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building, fast and easy. Call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-747-8335. 888-74-STEEL.
A big anniversary diamond is one twice as big as the one in her engagement ring.
Welcome to Kessler's.
It's classical conservatism, it's contemporary style, and it's hopefully a lot of fun. The Dan O'Donnell Show. Speaking of fun, we are going to have an absolute blast next June on the first Dan O'Donnell cruise to Alaska. Go to cruise-tour.com for details. We'll discuss it a little bit more later this hour, but I've got to get to this. So California is in a world of hurt right now. As they're conserving energy, they're being told to turn off their lights after 4 p.m. and just plunge the entire state into darkness, turn up their thermostats to 78 degrees in order to avoid rolling blackouts or a complete meltdown of their power grid. And this is a true nightmare scenario. So what is superstar actress Jennifer Lawrence having nightmares about right now? Tucker Carlson. Brand new interview in Vogue magazine. The piece reads, the 2016 election had torn open a rift in her family. Repairing it was an ongoing process, particularly since having a baby she had been trying to heal. She even discussed with her therapist the recurring nightmare she has about Tucker Carlson. I just worked so hard in the last 5 years to forgive my dad and my family and try to understand it's different. The information they're getting is different. Their life is different. I've tried to get over it, and I really can't. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm just unleashing, but I can't bleep with people who aren't political anymore. You live in the United States of America. You have to be political. It's too dire. Politics are killing people, as is presumably Tucker Carlson. So I guess in the Civil War that's coming, if Kathy Griffin is the Robert E. Lee, would that make Tucker our Ulysses S. Grant? Totally normal response from Jennifer Lawrence. Totally sane, totally someone who you should look to for guidance on politics. Let's go out to the phones and talk with Jen, listening to us in Milwaukee. Jen, welcome to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Well, I'm a Jennifer that likes Tucker.
You're not having nightmares about Rachel Maddow now, are you, Jennifer?
You're not supposed to know about those.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you. But I actually did a research paper on California's PENG problem for my MBA, and their power, electric, and gas company.
Wait. Was it titled "You're All Screwed: An Analysis of PG&E"? Because if it's not, let me tell you, if you want to revise that baby, I could punch it up a little bit.
Oh, man, I really should. But yeah, their power, electric, and gas company actually spent so much of their money on the wonderful green energy stuff that they actually didn't spend the necessary money on the basic maintenance of the existing infrastructure, which therefore made it actually easy for the wind to just blow down the power lines and start the wildfires. Thus, their solution of the rolling brownouts where they just shut down the grid. Well, when the grid shuts down, all the surplus solar power that the home's solar panels bring in actually gets trapped in the grid. So the houses, all the residents, it was a big shock to their system when they're like, hey, why can't I use my solar panels? If they don't actually have a battery, like spend the extra $5,000 to get their own individual battery on their property, their extra power gets trapped in the grid, and therefore the panels are actually like useless. So
I'm imagining you, Jennifer, delivering. Did you have to do a defense of this MBA paper, like a doctoral thesis? Or did you have to go in front of professors and defend your work orally?
No.
No, because if you did, I am imagining Alanis Morissette's Ironic playing behind you. You just come up with a big boom box and just blast, isn't it ironic, don't you think? So they're relying on wind, but because they were so over-reliant on wind, they didn't fortify power lines and the wind blew them over. And that's actually the major cause of one of the biggest and worst wildfires in the state's history, right? The Camp Fire was that 2018, 2019, which was just devastating. The last time I think California really faced a threat like this was because of just shoddy infrastructure. And this is exactly what I'm trying to say. I've got to ask, Jennifer, did you get an A on this paper? Because that was absolutely fantastic. That was everything I was trying to say in about 15 minutes in my opening monologue that you got done in 2.
Thank you. I was super nervous. Oh, and FYI, it gets better because starting in January 2020, California actually passed a new law. Well, it kicks in. And all new homes built in California are mandated that they have to have solar panels. So it just gets better.
Well, and how about this? We have such a strain on the grid that Newsom is actually asking people not to plug in their electric vehicles. Yet at the same time, he is saying we need to transition to all electric vehicles by 2030? We're talking about a massive strain on the power grid that I don't think anyone is fully contemplating. I don't care what grade you got, Jen, when you did this MBA. As a caller on the Dan O'Donnell Show, you get an A+. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
I really do appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. We will be right back here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Follow Dan on Facebook, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. Dan O'Donnell will be right back.
Hey, it's Dan O'Donnell for my great friends at Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses. Built Right's Labor Day mattress sale has been held over, so shop the most unique selection of mattresses with over 60 models and 500 mattresses in stock. Built Right always saves you money. Don't make a mistake by ordering online or from an employee-free self-service store. Built Right makes it easy, and with their legitimate sale prices, you'll get an exceptional value and a great night's sleep, as I do on my Built Right mattress every night. Built Right does the research for you. Their team will take the time to help properly fit you, and Built Right specializes in hard-to-find, flippable, two-sided mattresses and heavy-duty mattresses that hold up to 600 pounds. Shop Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. For personalized shopping, you can call to book an appointment. Sunday, as always, Built Right is closed to be with family. Make sure to tell them Dan O'Donnell sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
Growth drives our community forward. As a proud commercial banking partner, Waukesha State Bank is dedicated to helping local businesses grow. Whether your organization needs a commercial loan, payroll services, or a business checking account, we provide robust solutions that keep your business on the right track. Partner with a bank that invests in the local economy. Partner with a bank that invests in you. Get started at waukeshabank.com. Waukesha State Bank, member FDIC.
Tommy Mello here, owner of A1 Garage Doors. Call A1 Garage Doors for all your garage door needs, and you'll be smiling today.
A1Garage.com, A1 from day one.
The Difference, a new and informative podcast series presented by Annex Wealth Management. Conversation and informed opinion with WISN's Dan O'Donnell and Dave Spano of Annex Wealth Management. The Difference, available on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you find your favorite podcast.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Do you want to walk and stay healthy, but cannot because you are in pain?
I just had difficulty walking. I could not walk in bare feet at all.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts from the drugstore with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet Store.
The Good Feet system fits in all your shoes, so come to the Good Feet Store and become pain-free today.
Call now, 414-545-3338. Visit the Good Feet Store across from Mayfair Mall on the northwest corner of Center and Mayfair Road, or in Appleton across from Fox River Mall.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit our website at goodfeetmilwaukee.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet Store.
Dan Voss from Cut and Go Trees, a Trees and Tons movement. Introducing an amazing service there is a raw tonnage of need for. Grind and Go Stumps. Cut and Go's partner Jay Anderson is here to tell you about how Grind and Go Stumps works.
Grind and Go Stumps is the only stump grinding service allowing you, in a few short minutes, to create your own estimate. Log on to grindandgostumps.com. Watch our short tutorial video explaining how to use the grindandgostumps.com stump grinding calculator. Input the total diameter of your stump, including exposed roots, into the calculator and choose your preferred level of restoration and get an instant estimate. If you like what you see, and you will, then submit your estimate. We will be in touch and out to grind for you, to clean up, or grind and clean up, or grind, clean up, fill the void with soil, and plant grass seed soon. grindandgostumps.com calls Digger's Hotline and does as much of the cleanup and restoration as you choose. GRINDNGO Stumps.com.
Spectrum is America's leading internet provider, delivering gig speeds with 99.9% network reliability. Spectrum Mobile is America's fastest growing mobile provider. Now you can get both with an amazing new deal. Switch to Spectrum Internet Gig and get a free unlimited mobile line for 2 years years. That's right, a free mobile line. That's a savings of over $1,000. Act now to get a free mobile line for 2 years. Go to spectrum.com/amazing deal or visit a Spectrum store today. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Restrictions apply.
Let's face it, food shortages are a real threat now. Supply chain breakdowns, inflation, fuel prices, global conflicts, fertilizer cutbacks, farmers being encouraged not to plant. The stage is set for the peanut butter to hit the fan. But for some reason, Americans are still in denial about food shortages. Listen, we don't take risks with other things in our lives, so why take risks with your food security? Those who know what's coming are using today to prepare. Millions of Americans have purchased ready-hour emergency food from My Patriot Supply, the brand people look for when they're ready for real preparedness. MyPatriotSupply.com is America's largest preparedness company. Get stocked up on emergency food that lasts up to 25 years in storage to get you through tough times ahead. Your other choice is to stand in government food lines, hoping for a handout. As we both know, that's not an option. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, beat the largest timeshare company in federal court and has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-738-9900. That's 800-738-9900.
You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
And we go right back out to the phones and talk with Roger, listening to us in Germantown. Good morning, Roger.
Good morning. I would like to point out, just as a truism, that Democrats' solutions are always worse than the original problem. Now, in California, with their energy issue, there are 2 ways to solve going to green energy. Provide more green energy, and people sacrifice usage and reduce demand. But they're not willing to do that. So they only believe in climate change so long as it doesn't inconvenience them. Case in point, they could outlaw and stop usage of all clothes dryers. After all, aren't these the people that brag to us all year long about how wonderful their weather is? But in many neighborhood associations, there are rules that you cannot put up a clothesline. But by my calculations, 20 million households, 3 loads a week, the amount of usage a clothes dryer uses, which is a lot more than a light bulb, it comes out to about 12 gigawatts a year. That's a lot of power.
But I've got to interrupt you there, Roger. Don't you think looking out her back window and seeing a neighbor's clothesline might give Jennifer Lawrence more nightmares than Tucker Carlson? Thank you so much for the call. Speaking of your excellent point that Democrats' solutions are almost invariably worse than the actual problem, a brand new study from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget finds that student loan debt could return to the same level it was before President Biden's wealth transfer plan in less than a decade. Ahead of the announcement, there was $1.6 trillion of outstanding student loan debt. That could fall to $1.1 trillion if all eligible borrowers opt for debt forgiveness. But the Center for a Responsible Federal Budget, it's a nonpartisan fiscal responsibility advocacy group, estimates that the overall student debt portfolio will get right back to $1.6 trillion by 2028. Adjusted for inflation, that means student debt would return to its current level by 2031. In other words, 9 years from right now. And that presumes no change in borrower behavior. But of course, we know that to not be true. With debt forgiveness and with the possibility of ever more debt forgiveness, which remember is really nothing more than a giant wealth transfer, people would be enticed to borrow more. In fact, I'm actually considering my own behavior. My son is a freshman in high school, just started freshman in high school. So in 4 years, I'm going to have to pay for college. Technically, he's going to have to pay for college. And I was thinking, okay, I've been saving up and I think we're doing okay. We're going to be able to pay for his education and then his brother and then his sister. We've got our kids pretty well staggered out. So we're going to be paying pretty much one tuition for about 12 straight years. Not counting if the kids go to grad school or something like that. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm about to have a panic attack live on the air. Like, did you see that news anchor? I think she was in Florida who had a stroke live on the air. That's going to be me if I continue to think about how much money I'm going to have to, earn. You think I'm doing a lot of commercials now, ladies and gentlemen. You just wait till my kids are in college. But I wasn't considering taking out loans or having the kids take out loans. Now, you'd almost have to be a sucker not to. If every time Democrats are in trouble in a presidential election or midterm, they're dangling more student debt, quote unquote, forgiveness. Yet again, Democrat solutions actually make problems worse. And what do you think is going to happen to tuition as more and more people are taking out loans? As there's more and more demand for a product, the basic laws of economics tell us that, well, prices tend to go up. Let's check in with America's favorite press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre.
Everyone's a little bit racist sometimes.
I just think that America has a really a big problem with race, and it's very real.
Look around and you will find no one's really colorblind. Maybe it's a fact we all should face. Everyone makes judgments based on race.
Especially to Karine Jean-Pierre, who has made a career out of calling anyone and everything racist. She had actually one of her absolute best gaffes since assuming the role of White House press secretary earlier this year. She was asked about the power situation in Europe. Of course, the European Commission president earlier today announced that there's going to be some mandatory rationing because of the over-reliance on Russian oil that comes to the European Union from the pipeline Nord Stream 1, as well as Nord Stream 2. Well, Karine had a bit of an embarrassing flub discussing that.
You've heard us say this, that what we see Russia's doing, and we've been very clear about this, is that they're using energy, they're weaponizing energy, and it's choosing to one of the things that has been out there, to shut down the pipeline of Nord Stream 1.
Nord Stream 1. The new fall fashion is rationing. I'd say the fall color that's hot this year it's pipeline brown. Nord Stream 1. Okay, it's a slip of the tongue. But during the White House press briefing, reporter Peter Doocy of Fox News sort of got to the heart of something that's been eating at my craw ever since President Biden first called out MAGA Republicans. We are now on day number 7 of the White House desperately trying to define MAGA Republicans. No, it's not 74 million people who voted for Donald Trump. No, Biden never said Trump supporters, fellow citizens, people like you and me are dangers to democracy. No. He meant elected Republicans, but not all of them. There are Republicans who are good Republicans. They're not MAGA Republicans like, Mitt Romney, who 10 years ago he said to a predominantly black audience that Romney and Paul Ryan, another Trump critic, are, quote, gonna put y'all back in chains. So he's not a MAGA Republican, but who is a MAGA Republican? Well, someone who encourages political violence, like, showing up at Supreme Court justices' houses, prompting some psychopath to go from California to the Washington, D.C. area in an attempt to assassinate Brett Kavanaugh, firebombing crisis pregnancy centers across the country, including in Madison, in response to the Roe v. Wade ruling being overturned. Or what about denying elections? The idea that we don't accept the results of elections. All of this is what goes into a MAGA Republican. Well, Karine Jean-Pierre, it seems, has done her own bit of election denial. In 2016, she referred to the Trump victory the previous month, this was December of 2016, as a, quote, stolen election. And Ducey, of course, is the only reporter who asks her about it.
The new attention on the MAGA Republicans. You tweeted in 2016,
I knew this
Trump
was coming.
stole an election.
I was waiting, Peter, when you were going to ask me that question.
All right, let me interrupt this for just 1 second. She knew this was coming, meaning she knew she was going to be asked about this, and she knew it was going to be coming from Peter Ducey. Why? Because after, I don't know, 5 months of being in the job, 4 months, I think it was April, she actually officially took over for Jen Psaki. She knew that since the topic du jour, since January 6th, has been election denial, that this question was coming. Yet she also knew that there would not be another member of the media, either in the White House press corps or on any of the Sunday shows that she goes on. Only Peter Ducey. What, ladies and gentlemen, does that tell you about the White House press corps? Let's keep going with the go.
Well, great. Here we go. You tweeted Trump stole an election. You tweeted Brian Kemp stole an election. If denying election results is extreme now, why was
So
it
let's be really clear. That comparison that you made is just ridiculous. I have been. Well, you're asking me a question. Yes. Let me answer it.
And you said it was ridiculous.
I was talking specifically at that time of what was happening with voting rights and what was in danger of voting rights. That's what I was speaking to at the time.
Aha! So voter suppression, the intentional effort by Brian Kemp, then Secretary of State, to keep people from voting, isn't stealing an election. Karine Jean-Pierre, by the way, was absolutely referring to, in her December 2016 tweet, the Russia conspiracy. And this is something that Democrats have been saying literally since 2016. It's a remarkable bit of gaslighting to believe that they didn't think the 2016 election was stolen or that it's a unique and incredible threat to democracy to deny an election. We had a 3-year-long special counsel investigation into the idea that Donald Trump colluded with Russia to rig an election against Hillary Clinton. As recently as 2019, Hillary Clinton was telling audiences wherever she would speak that the election was stolen from her.
As I've been telling candidates who have come to see me, you can run the best campaign, you can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
Yeah. She's telling candidates that all across the fruited plain that she ran the best campaign. She was the most qualified woman ever, and she had the election stolen because of all of this Russian interference, which the Mueller investigation determined was not collusion between Trump and Putin. Now, it wasn't just 2016. Every single time this century a Republican has won the election for president, Democrats have risen on the floor of Congress during the ceremonial counting of votes to formally object. Here is a montage from 2000, 2004, and 2016. Democrats all denying the legitimacy of those elections.
Mr. President, I stand for the purpose of objecting to the counting of the vote from the state of Florida as read.
I am objecting to the idea that votes in Florida were not counted.
Millions of Americans who have been disenfranchised by Florida's inaccurate vote count.
We're here because not a single election official in Ohio has given us any explanation for the massive and widespread irregularity in the state. No explanation for the machines in Mahoning County that recorded carry votes for Bush.
I object to the votes from the state of Wisconsin.
I object to the certificate from the state of Georgia.
I object to the certificate from the state of North Carolina.
I object to the certificate from the state of Alabama.
So let's see. A MAGA Republican, a threat to democracy, an enemy of the people, is someone who endorses political violence and denies the results of elections. Sounds to me that In President Biden's view, MAGA Republicans are actually liberal Democrats.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style.
The Dan O'Donnell Show. We'll be right back.
If years of watching football has provided you with piercing insight on what separates winners from losers, then the Mark Belling Football Contest is your gridiron cup of tea. Every Thursday, a contestant will pick a game against a spread or the over-under number. Winners get to spike the bowl of football brilliance while also snaring a $100 cash card.
The Mark Belling Football Contest is presented by Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. Holiday Automotive. It's worth the trip. HolidayAutomotive.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for the Fairways of Woodside, a fun, relaxing place to play golf and one of the absolute best courses you'll find anywhere. I love it because far from the stuffy, uptight atmosphere you'll find at other courses, the Fairways puts the emphasis on fun, enjoyment of the game with friends. So come out and escape for a round on their beautiful, perfectly manicured course. Book your tee time today at fairwaysofwoodside.com, and I'll see you on the fairways.
Hi, it's Jerry Bond. Looking for a safe and vibrant senior living community? Look no further than Clement Manor. The remodeled apartments give you the freedom to live life to the fullest while providing an unparalleled level of personal care. Residents can take advantage of the Independent Plus program for those who want a little extra help with meals, laundry, and housekeeping. There's a host of amenities, including restaurant-style dining, a bar, pool, and much more. Book a tour and see why Clement Manor got a 5 out of 5 rating from U.S. News and World Report. Details at clementmanor.com. Clement Manor, life enriched.
Hey, hon, can I read you something?
Sure.
Okay. Dear First American Bank.
Why are you writing a letter to First American Bank?
You'll see.
Okay.
We are applying for a First American Bank home equity line of credit. And why wouldn't we? No application fees, great competitive, I can't read my writing.
Rates, great competitive rates.
Yeah, that's it. With our First American Bank home equity line of credit, we plan to...
You don't need to tell them that.
Should I find someone else to read this to?
Oh, go on.
I will quit my job as a pharmacist to be a mixed martial arts cage fighter.
Oh, sorry.
Or we'll expand our garage and I'll buy a new snowblower at the end.
Perfect. And with our First American Bank home equity line of credit, we can get to our money quickly and easily anytime for anything.
P.S.
You don't need a P.S.
How cool is it that we can
First
get to
American
our money?
Bank, the bank that does more for your money. Visit firstambank.com. Call us at 262-577-2400. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Jay Weber here. If you're someone who is experiencing shoulder, hip, or knee pain and a total joint replacement may be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Find them at orthowisconsin.com. At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality joint care and specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Hey folks, Jay Trudell from Kitchen Creators. The interest rates, gas, inflation has the economy looking like leaping lizards. But there's good news. Kitchen Creators still has great prices and free delivery on our cabinetry. Our Legend line is even available in less than 6 weeks. Mid-Continent is offering free paint on both their Signature and Pivot lines. Omega is additional 10% off for a limited time. At Kitchen Creators, we're solving the branding issues. You dream it, we'll create it. American made. See us at kitchencreators.com.
Brandon from Homesealed here. Remember playing wiffle ball as a kid where you hit the hollow plastic ball with the hollow plastic bat? The ball and bat would always crack after a few whacks, but that's what you get with cheap hollow plastic. It's also what you get with most vinyl windows. Many vinyl windows have hollow plastic frames. They're wiffle ball windows. There's nothing inside them, so they warp, bend, and break down in Wisconsin weather. At Homesealed, we don't do wiffle ball windows. We install solid composite windows. They're made of an advanced polymeric composite, and they're solid all the way through. They stay straight, rigid, and ultra efficient forever. No warping, no bending, no breaking down. Skip wiffle ball windows. Choose composite windows from Homesealed. Call 262-404-4444 or visit homesealed.com. Right now, you can finance for as low as $14.44 a month. That's 262-404-4444 or homesealed.com.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, beat the largest timeshare company in federal court and has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-738-9900. That's 800-738-9900.
What do you think is a more difficult question for the Biden administration to answer? What is a MAGA Republican, or what is a woman? They've had a week, and they still haven't been able to tell us exactly what Biden meant by MAGA Republicans, who are the single greatest threat to democracy and the Western world in 5 or 6 decades. He, honest to goodness, said every 5 or 6 decades there is a threat this dire. So who exactly are these MAGA Republicans that are threatening to destroy our very way of life? Well, they're not Trump voters. They're not Trump supporters. They're elected Republicans, but not all elected Republicans. Then again, there is what is a woman. A sitting justice on the United States Supreme Court has absolutely no idea because she's a biologist. Should we do this as a poll? What's more difficult to define, a MAGA Republican or a woman? What do you think, Dave? Flip a coin? Nah, you know what? I'm going to tell you. It's not actually that difficult. Do you know who they view as a MAGA Republican? Every Republican. Who's the real threat to America? Who's the real threat to democracy? Everyone who doesn't support them. A woman, meanwhile, that definition seems to change with every new article that's published in the media on gender-affirming care.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Want me to prove my point that they view every one of us, everyone who doesn't support the liberal world order, as a threat, a singular threat to American democracy? Sunny Hostin on ABC's The View. She was spitballing how many Republicans are actually threats, are actually dangerous. She put the number at, 60 to 70%.
60 to 70% of Republicans, I'm not even saying MAGA Republicans or this Republican, 60 to 70% of Republicans believe that Donald Trump is the leader of their party. And so if you are saying that he is a fascist, what are they? If you are saying that he is a white supremacist, what are they? Right. If you are saying that he is a racist, what are they? Because if you follow someone that has hate in their heart, and I believe that he does, then you are complicit in that.
Yeah, you. Just by voting for Trump, just by opposing Joe Biden, just for thinking differently. See, this is the fundamental difference between conservatives and liberals. We have a lot of fun on this show, especially making fun of liberals. We, heck, do a segment every single day, picking out the silliest, most ridiculous, most unhinged thing that's said. Liberals truly do believe you are evil. You pose a threat to the country and the world. Sunny Hostin of The View, your unhinged liberal of the day. Coming up, we'll dive into some polls. A very interesting piece in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel from Craig Gilbert, who's now still writing for the Journal-Sentinel, but I believe he's a senior fellow at Marquette University. He found some striking parallels between Governor Walker's re-election bid in 2018 and Governor Evers' re-election bid this year. Plus, we'll check in with man Deadbeat Barnes with a great excuse for why he didn't get his picture taken with Joe Biden on Monday.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
One of Milwaukee's most wanted is dead. Good morning, I'm Terry Bell on News Talk 1130 WISN. The medical examiner confirms Leslie Boast killed himself yesterday. Boast was accused of killing one person and injuring 3 others near 22nd and Center in August. Californians are urged to conserve power and water in the grips of a stifling heat wave.
Everyone has to do their part to help step up for just a few more days. Individuals, the state, industries, business, all doing their part to help reduce strain on the grid.
Governor Gavin Newsom. The legislature's Joint Finance Committee meets tomorrow to decide how to spend the money from a $31 million opioid settlement. Checking the Drake and Associates Sports Scoreboard, the Brewers are at Colorado this afternoon. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Terry Bell.
The news is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Hey, it's Dan O'Donnell for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Now is a great time to take advantage of Pella's wide range of beautiful wood designs that can be painted, stained, or unfinished to complement any decor. So maybe you have a room with white walls. Pella's expert installers will match it with the wood around the windows in that room, stain others to match the wood tones in another area of the house, and all with the superior craftsmanship that leaves no hassle or mess. Just perfect results that stand the test of time, and they have the best wood warranty in the industry to prove it. I mentioned it's a great time to take advantage because Pella is currently offering this incredible special. Put no money down, make no payments, and be charged 0 interest for up to 24 months. You can't beat that, so get started today at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit them at their beautiful showroom in Brookfield and online at PellaWI.com.
Common sense, a rare commodity in 21st century America. If you're on a quest for insightful commentary, enterprise reporting, and a dose of material that's just plain cool, make a daily stop at Common Sense Central at newstalk1130.com. Dan O'Donnell digs up the stories that you simply won't find anywhere else.
Common Sense Central is presented by Positive Energy, an effort by American Transmission Company to match charitable organizations with the volunteer power needed to carry out their mission. Learn more at newstalk1130.com/positive energy.
Here's the Bryant and cooling forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Some dense morning fog to deal with away from the lake. That dense fog advisory lasts until 9 a.m. Then it's all about sunshine, and a high near 80 today. Should be clear and near 60 overnight. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by LP SmartSide Trim and Siding. Visit lpcorp.com/pro. Does your siding crack under pressure? LP SmartSide Trim and Siding helps tackle what the job site throws its way. Even if you have to replace a board, LP SmartSide products are designed to bend. Side with advanced durability. Side with LP SmartSide Trim and Siding. Visit lpcorp.com/pro.
It is This Week with Annex Wealth Management. Dan O'Donnell alongside the president and CEO of Annex, Dave Spano. And this, the week after Labor Day, is typically when markets really start moving. Oftentimes, Dave, we'll see what's become known as a September swoon.
That is true, Dan, and a lot of information is out right now. We saw all of the earnings reports, and they were relatively good, but now the earnings season is over. The markets will move to new information. The big story coming up is the Fed meeting on September 20th and 21st when they'll make their announcement. It's not a matter if they will raise interest rate, it is how much they will raise interest rates. Will it be 50 basis points or 75 or even 100 basis points to try to tamp down inflation because they have been late to the game?
Yeah, and this is the thing that is really weighing on investors' minds. Are we going to see rate hikes that could push the nation further into a recession?
That is exactly right. And their concern is that they're trying to get to a soft landing, trying to slow inflation down while keeping positive growth. Or does it cause a recession where we get negative growth again back-to-back quarters? So this is really a recipe for a choppy market over the next 6 months or so. Really important to go through your portfolio and make sure that you're positioned correctly. You can do that position by going through that, knowing what you you own, why you own it, and how much you're paying for it.
And the place to do that, to get what we call a free wealth metric. It's a review of your portfolio by the people who know best. You just head to AnnexWealth.com. For Dave Spano, the president and CEO of Annex, I'm Dan O'Donnell. Thanks for listening to This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation's 9/11 Never Forget mobile exhibit is a tribute to all who lost their lives on 9/11 or from 9/11 related illnesses. It's a high-tech tractor trailer that transforms into a museum to educate people of all ages about America's darkest day. The mobile exhibit has traveled across the country and welcomed over 600,000 people. Visit it in a city near you. Do good and never forget. Donate $11 a month at t2t.org.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, beat the largest timeshare company in federal court and has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-738-9900. That's 800-738-9900.
A 49-year-old unidentified. News never stops, and now you never have to take a break from the station that brings you the news. Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to any station, anytime, all for free. Want even more, but don't want to pay? Good, we've got that. Discover podcasts from your favorite radio hosts, podcasts that take you further into the story, podcasts that give you stories you never knew existed. Always free. Don't pay for the news you want and the stations you love. Download the free iHeartRadio app today. Available now in the App Store.
Episode 2 of the Larrabee and LePay podcast is now available from iHeartRadio. Wayne Larrabee and Matt LePay look at Week 1's Badgers football victory, and they catch up with Minnesota Vikings play-by-play man Paul Allen ahead of the Vikings and Packers to kick off the NFL season. The Larrabee and LePay podcast from iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Offering the latest information and the greatest analysis. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN.
So I turned off the Brewers game after that leadoff home run by Yelich. Man, was that a blast. What'd that go, 500 feet, 499? Anything interesting happen after that? Yeesh. In case there was any doubt that no, the Brewers are not a playoff team, it was resoundingly erased last night. One of the worst losses I think I've ever seen. This looks like a team that's just ready to come back in the spring. They are ready for their winter break. I don't see them getting the wild card. The division has been long out of reach. What are they, 8 games behind St. Louis? They could catch Philadelphia or San Diego, who's been struggling almost as badly as the Brewers. But I just don't see it happening. Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Speaking of struggling, folks, I play this. We have a lot of fun on this show. We make fun of liberals and we make fun of Democrats. And I play this next soundbite, not to make fun, but to illustrate a very serious point. The focus of Democrats' efforts to maintain control of the United States Senate are not in Wisconsin. I think this is very telling because Ron Johnson was supposed to be the most vulnerable incumbent. He was supposed to be the easiest pickup opportunity, but it's not going that way. Joe Biden is basically camped out in Pennsylvania for the past 2 weeks. All of the focus of the national media has been on Pennsylvania. The Democratic candidate, I don't know how I can put this delicately, is clearly not well enough to run for Senate. He's clearly not well enough to serve. He's not well enough to be on the campaign trail. John Fetterman is the state's lieutenant governor. He is, if you've never seen him, he stands out in a crowd. What is he, about 6'8"? I mean, he is a big, big dude. Bald guy with a goatee. He always wears hooded sweatshirts with the sleeves rolled up. He suffered a stroke shortly before the primary, and he was off the campaign trail for the better part of 3 months. He's running against Dr. Oz of TV fame. The Republican candidate endorsed by Trump narrowly got out of a primary, and it was a bruising primary, and Dr. Oz was pretty much reviled in Pennsylvania conservative circles, so it's taken a while for his positives, his positive poll numbers to get up. It's taken a while for the base to coalesce around him because of the nature of the primary and the fact that he's a TV doctor who basically moved from New Jersey to run in Pennsylvania, so there's a lot of animosity. And he was sort of seen as an outside interloper who knows he could never win in New Jersey, never win in New York, and is going to Pennsylvania. Well, now his numbers are starting to tick up as the race is leveling out. In large part, this is due to the fact that Fetterman is so obviously not recovered from his stroke. During a Labor Day speech, just listen.
Please understand the stakes in this race. Send me to Washington, D.C. so I can work with Senator Casey and I can champion the union way of life in D.C. Thank you very much, and it's an honor. I live 8 minutes away from here, and when I leave tonight, I got 3 miles away, Dr. Oz in his mansion in New Jersey. You've got a friend and you have an ally. Send me to Washington, D.C. Thank you very much. Thank you, Steelworkers.
That, believe it or not, was not altered in any way. And I've listened to it about 5 times now, and I think I know what he was saying. He said, send me to Washington to preserve the union way of life. I'm one of you. When I go home today, it's a 3-mile commute. I'm 8 minutes away from home. Meanwhile, Dr. Oz is living in a mansion in New Jersey. He doesn't stand for you. I do. Send me to Washington. Thank you very much. He couldn't do that. Now, Fetterman has rather infamously been ducking debates with Dr. Oz, and now even the media, with clips like this going viral, can no longer ignore the fact that Fetterman is clearly not well. In fact, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, in an editorial, wrote, either he's able to debate Dr. Oz, or he's not able to serve in the Senate. If he can't debate, how can he serve? The Senate is theoretically all debate, either behind closed doors or on the floor. The job of a senator is to passionately advocate for your ideas and your principles, to whip up votes, to get legislation passed. That's the nature of it. If he can't take part in a televised debate, let alone 4 or 5 or whatever it is that Oz wants, he's not fit to serve in the Senate. And that's not Dr. Oz. And they originally tried the Fetterman campaign. Well, Dr. Oz is just insensitive and cruel to stroke patients. And how dare he mock Fetterman's recovery? This isn't mocking. Folks, please don't misunderstand. I am not mocking Fetterman in any way. I am telling you he has no business being on the campaign trail. And if the media is noticing, so too are voters. That's a big reason that this race is tightening. Now, on Labor Day, we were wondering whether Mandela Barnes, the Senate candidate and lieutenant governor here in Wisconsin, would meet with President Biden during the big Labor Fest speech. And of course, Barnes would never answer any of our questions, but WISN 12 reporter Matt Smith caught up with him and said, hey, we noticed that you were nowhere near Governor Evers and President Biden during the speech. What gives with that?
You met with labor workers in union yesterday. You also did not appear with the president yesterday. Why was that?
Well, we had a pre-packed schedule, had to get around the state. I'm really grateful that the president has shown his support for the labor movement here in Wisconsin.
We had a pretty packed schedule. Dude, you were at the same event. What, were you too busy buying hot dogs to meet with the president? Barnes was so invisible at this event. He was so far away from Biden that Biden didn't even know he was there.
You know, and the same goes for Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, who couldn't be here, but he's going to be your next United States Senator. Oh, he is.
Biden says, Barnes, who couldn't be here, he's going to be your next senator. And then someone points him out, and Barnes is standing in the crowd waving. Oh, he is here. Oh, I didn't notice because he didn't come up to say hi to me. Now, this reveals a very uncomfortable truth, that Barnes is ducking Biden because Biden, even after the media has been telling us for, a month now, that he's been racking up victories. Look, the Inflation Reduction Act, major win. Student loan debt forgiveness, major win. Killing the leader of Al-Qaeda, major win. Republicans are on their heels. They even created memes, Dark Brandon, which apparently the president took a little too literally with his Independence Hall speech in Philadelphia. But Biden was supposed to be back. Biden's approval is ticking up. Why does Barnes want nothing to do with him? Because the fundamentals of this race have not changed. The fundamentals of the midterms have not changed at all, despite the change in the narrative starting in about early to mid-August to try to depress Republican turnout and dampen Republican spirits. Biden is still significantly underwater. Historically, midterms turn on a president's approval rating. Toward that end, fascinating piece by Craig Gilbert in today's Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, drawing the parallels between last year's 2018's blue wave midterm election, when Donald Trump had just been elected president 2 years earlier, and this year's presumed red wave, which we've been told for, a month now, is going to be a red ripple. It's going to be a red puddle. It's not going to be a tsunami. Not at all. But it's shaping up to be exactly like that here in Wisconsin, which might well be the ultimate swing state and the ultimate determinant of where the electorate actually is. 4 years ago, Gilbert writes, the governor of Wisconsin entered the fall of his re-election year clinging to a small lead over his lesser-known challenger despite the political drag of an unpopular president in his own party. That was Republican Scott Walker, and he lost. Today, the man who beat him, Democrat Tony Evers, finds himself in a very similar position. Like Walker in the summer of 2018, Evers' approval ratings are marginally positive. Like Walker, he holds a small lead over his opponent. And like Walker, Evers shares a political party with a first-term president dogged by negative job ratings. And Gilbert goes through the statistics, the polling, and it is remarkable how similar it is. Both Walker and Evers have the exact same net job approval ratings. 48% of registered voters in a Marquette poll approved of Walker. 46% disapproved. Net approval, +2. Summer of 2022, 47% approve of Evers, 45% disapprove. Net rating, +2. Walker and Evers are each leading their respective Republican challengers by 2 points. Walker led Evers 46-44. Evers led Tim Michels 45-43. Interestingly enough, both had a third-party candidate drawing about 7%. This year it is Joan Ellis Beglinger who has endorsed Tim Michels. We were kind of on her for serving as nothing but a spoiler for Governor Evers. She put out a piece, I think it was picked up by Wisconsin Conservative Digest, in which she's essentially dropping out. And she's saying, I don't want to be seen as a spoiler that helps reelect Tony Evers, because she was getting a shocking 7% of the vote. I was floored by that, because the only time I ever heard of Joan Ellis Beglinger was when I heard her commercials on this show. So either this show has way more reach and influence than anybody knows, or she was doing something right to get at 7%. What this also likely was people that maybe Clayfish supporters reluctant to jump on the Michaels bandwagon after a bruising primary, but she's out. She says, I'm endorsing Tim Michaels. Similarly, both Walker in 2018 and Evers in 2022 had a sitting president in the governor's party who is underwater politically, meaning more voters disapprove than approve. In both cases, Wisconsin's governor is significantly outpolling the president. Walker's job approval was 5 points higher than Trump. Evers' job approval, 7 points higher than Biden's. Now, there are some significant differences. Voters in 2018, and this is critical, were much more upbeat than they are in 2022 about where their state is headed. 36% right now say the state is headed in the right direction, about 20 points lower than on the eve of the 2018 election. What this tends to mean is there is an anti-incumbent sentiment amongst the electorate. This is not good for Evers. And in fact, I would posit that Michaels being so close, in fact, a Trafalgar Group poll, and Trafalgar is, yes, a Republican-leaning polling outfit, but it is consistently the most accurate. It actually has the race effectively tied. 48% for Evers, 47.5% for Tim Michaels. If a Republican is polling even at this point, and there's a weird thing about polls, the Democrat always gets way ahead, weirdly enough, furthering the narrative that the Republican can't win, potentially drying up donations and support and the like. And then the Republican mounts a furious comeback, where we're probably seeing right now. We saw the exact same thing in 2016 with Ron Johnson. In August polling, Ron Johnson was trailing Russ Feingold by 11 points, 13 points, 10 points consistently until he eventually won in a race that wasn't super close. Is the same thing going to happen this year? Polls are already tightening in the Johnson-Barnes race, and they're already tightening in the Michaels-Evers race. The fact that so many people are upset about the direction of the country and the state, that so many people disapprove of the job that Biden is doing. And remember, this poll, the most recent polling, doesn't even take into account the asinine speech that he gave last Thursday. Speaking of Trafalgar, Trafalgar is the first polling outfit to actually ask that question, whether or not it was appropriate, the dark Brandon, cloaked in red, Mussolini-esque fist-pounding speech. Poll asked respondents, what's your opinion of Biden's recent primetime address to the nation in which he accused his political opponents of representing an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic? 56% said the speech represents a dangerous escalation in rhetoric and is designed to incite conflict among Americans. Only 35% say the speech was acceptable campaign messaging that is to be expected in an election year. In other words, it backfired. And you can tell it backfired because they've been trying to explain what exactly Biden meant for the better part of a week now. What you're going to see is the polls continue to tighten. The generic ballot, which ultimately doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot, continue to favor Republicans. And in these individual races where we've been told forever that poor candidate selection by the GOP is going to doom their efforts to retake control of the Senate. Arizona with Blake Masters, Ohio with J.D. Vance, Pennsylvania with Oz, Georgia with Herschel Walker. You're going to see even those suspect candidates get buoyed because so many people believe the country is off on the wrong track. Inflation continues to be the driver of public sentiment. The wild cards, of course, are indeed abortion and are indeed how much the President Trump Mar-a-Lago raid plays into motivating Democrats. But the reality is, Biden doesn't make a speech like that. He doesn't take such a political gamble, casting all of his opponents as threats to democracy. if he's comfortably ahead and he really does believe the polling, more importantly, that his handlers, who are more aware than he is, believe the polling that Democrats are able to rest on their laurels, tout their accomplishments, you make that sort of speech. You escalate the rhetoric to that degree when you are terrified that nothing else is working. And think about it. Biden passes the Inflation Reduction Act that doesn't actually reduce inflation. He passes student loan debt forgiveness, which doesn't actually forgive the debt, but rather passes the cost to taxpayers. Both backfired, especially student loan debt. You'll notice how quickly we moved on from that, didn't you? Don't you think if this was a good proposal that is firing up people, Biden would be on tour talking about that? Look at this great thing. He pivoted immediately to Republicans are threats to democracy. He did that because people were ticked off about student loan debt. And in fact, there is some polling that suggests that this is actually motivating working class conservative Republicans because they're saying, hey, wait a second, you're going to make me pay for college kids' debts that they don't feel like paying? Okay. It was a big political blunder by him. Nothing has fundamentally changed. Republicans still have this historical institutional advantage. And any effort to suggest that Democrats somehow have the edge and it's going to be a blue wave is nothing more than a concerted effort to depress you. To deny Republicans political donations, because, of course, no one wants to donate to a loser, and to make you think that there's no chance that Republicans can win. All right, coming up next, we are going to play America's favorite game show, Guess What's Racist? And we need a contestant. We'll take caller number 18 to 414-799-1130 or 1-800-838-9476. Dan O'Donnell here for the Fairways of Woodside, a fun, relaxing place to play golf and one of the absolute best courses you'll find anywhere. I love it because far from the stuffy, uptight atmosphere you'll find at other courses, the Fairways puts the emphasis on fun, enjoyment of the game with friends. So come out and escape for a round on their beautiful, perfectly manicured course. Book your tee time today at fairwaysofwoodside.com, and I'll see you on the fairways.
Today's Dan O'Donnell program is brought to you by Great Midwest Bank. Whether you're ready to buy, build, or renovate, Great Midwest Bank takes the stress out of paying for it. Get started today at greatmidwestbank.com.
Spend your weekend with the Brewers starting Friday, September 9th. A 3-game series featuring the season's biggest giveaway on Sunday the 11th. A one-of-a-kind Brewers Giannis bobblehead. Get your seats at brewers.com/promotions.
A jewelry store can be a very scary place. It's full of diamonds and gold, and sometimes the salespeople can make you feel like you really don't belong. Who wants to feel like that? Buying a diamond should be one of the happiest and most exciting moments of your life, and we promise to make it that way for you. Cross my heart, no matter your age, how you're dressed, or how much money you have, you're going to have a magical experience when you come to Kessler's. You're going to see the largest selection of diamond engagement rings in one place at one time than you've ever seen in your life. Looking at rings is a wonderful way to spend time together. And when you find the ring you know is the one, but cash might be a little tight, we've got fantastic financing available, and we'll work hard to get you approved. We're on your side. Kessler's is always on your side. We're 7 stores strong with 6 locations in Wisconsin and 1 in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We'd be thrilled to have you stop in and see what we're all about.
Find the Kessler's nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Attention all business owners who rent or lease space, including storage space. Stop wasting your money paying someone else for your space. You can now save a ton of money and own your own building with the incredible sale prices from General Steel. That's right, start saving money every month on renting space from others. Just call 888-74-STEEL to see how General Steel can help you save money. Our 50-year structural warranty buildings are custom designed for your needs and save you a ton of money. Call 888 888-74-STEEL.
Take it from a successful entrepreneur. If you need to expand or start a new business, you need General Steel.
Great team and the competitive pricing is the reason I went with General Steel.
Call 888-74-STEEL now, and you can get any of our popular quick construction structures, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building, fast and easy. Call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-747-8335. 888-74-STEEL.
Men's wedding bands made from whiskey barrels and meteorites.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. The day after a judge in Florida appoints a special master to oversee the filtering of the documents seized from the Mar-a-Lago raid, in part because of a fear of leaks from the FBI, there's a leak from the FBI. We'll get to that coming up in just a little bit. But first, it is time to play America's very favorite game show.
Guess What's Racist?
That's right. It is your chance, ladies and gentlemen, to determine what previously benign, decidedly non-racist thing is now evidence of America's deep inequity. Today's contestant is Bill in Oak Creek, who joins us on the phone. Bill, welcome to Guess What's Racist.
Thank you, Dan. It's an honor to be on your show with you.
Well, it's an honor to have you, sir. Unfortunately, sucking up to the host is considered a form of racism. I assume, Bill, you know how the game is played, correct?
Yes, I do.
All right. For those who don't, I am going to give Bill a list of 3 things. One of those 3 things is suddenly and seemingly without warning now horribly racist. 5 minutes ago, it wasn't, but now a member of the media or a Democrat or some liberal somewhere says this is evidence of America's systemic racism. All 3 things are going to be related, but only one is going to be the correct answer. All right, Bill, are you ready to play, sir?
I am ready.
Guess what's racist? Criticizing Lord of the Flies, criticizing Lord of the Rings, or criticizing Lord of War?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm going to have to go with criticizing Lord of the Rings.
That is correct. Amazon has recently taken the unprecedented step of suspending customer reviews for its brand new Lord of the Rings series, Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. According to the media, there has been a small contingent of viewers who object to the inclusion of non-white actors in this fantastical setting and claim that this contradicts the vision of author J.R.R. Tolkien. In other words, black and brown hobbits and elves are bringing out the white trolls, including none other than billionaire tech founder Elon Musk, who tweeted that Tolkien would be spinning in his grave at the notion of diverse casting. This, of course, misses the point. The criticisms of Lord of the Rings are well beyond who is cast. It's the overall woke tone of the program. All right, you are, Bill, 1 for 1. We're going for 2 straight correct answers. Guess what's racist? Going back to school, going back to work, or going back to sleep?
Oh, that's a really tough one. I'm going to say going back to school is racist.
That is correct. CNN.com today. It's been only a few weeks since millions of children returned to America's schools, but the debate surrounding the teaching of gender identity and race is already at a fever pitch. Dozens of books have been pulled from shelves in Texas. New policies expanding oversight of books are being drafted or already passed in multiple states. A Florida school district halted library purchases, and a teacher resigned resigned in Oklahoma over the censorship of books in classroom libraries. That's right. If you can't read anti-racist baby to a group of kindergartners, you are horribly racist. It is amazing that even if you just say, hey, let's teach, math and English language arts, just a couple of days after a massive study showed unprecedented drops in standardized test scores amid the Democrat-led lockdowns from COVID-19. Nope. We've got to take valuable learning time to teach about racial equity and gender identity. And if you don't do so, according to CNN.com, or if you object in any way, you're racist. All right, final question since we are behind time, Bill. I apologize. It's only going to be a 3-question game today. Guess what's racist? All work, no play, or making Jack a dull boy?
Oh, boy. Work.
You, sir, have a perfect game. Congratulations. Yes, work. A landmark study out of the UK finds more than 120,000 workers from minority ethnic backgrounds quit their jobs because of racism. More than 1 in 4 workers from black and other minority ethnic backgrounds have faced racist jokes at work in the last 5 years, and 35% said it left them feeling less confident at work, according to what is believed to be the largest representative survey conducted of the UK's 3.9 million minority ethnic workers. Now, there wasn't a direct finding that they quit because of racism, but they said that the jokes and feeling uncomfortable played into the decision. So yes, work, at least in the United Kingdom, is racist. Bill, congratulations on a perfect game of Guess What's Racist. That doesn't happen very often, and think we've only had about 3 or 4 prior to you.
Well, thank you very much, Dan. It's an honor to be on your show, and hope to play it again sometime.
All right. Unfortunately, Bill, we don't have a prize for you except a deeper, more complete understanding of how you specifically contribute to America's systemic racism. And that knowledge, I think, is the greatest prize of all. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. You have been listening to America's favorite game show, Guess What's Racist? The Dan O'Donnell cruise is going to the #1 requested destination, Alaska. Next June, we'll spend 2 nights in Anchorage and then cruise to Juneau, Skagway, Ketchikan, and Vancouver with stunning scenic cruising at Hubbard Glacier and the Inside Passage. Premium drinks, gourmet meals, gratuities, Wi-Fi. It's all included on the beautiful Celebrity Millennium. Get the details and join me at cruise-tour.com.
Let's face it, you could have the best windows in the world installed on your home, but even the top windows aren't immune to the accidents and oopses of everyday life. Say, if your kid sends a fastball sailing, or your lawnmower spits out a stone, or Fido spots a squirrel outside. That's why home sealed windows come with an oops-proof broken glass guarantee. If you break the glass in your home sealed window, we'll fix it for free. No deductible, no hidden fees. Unless it's an act of God, it doesn't matter how it happened or whose fault it was. We'll replace the glass at no charge for life. The oops-proof broken glass guarantee only at Home Sealed Exteriors. Call 262-404-4444 or visit homesealed.com for details. Right now, you can finance new windows for as low as $14.44 per month. That's 262-404-4444 or homesealed.com.
2,000% more airtime. Home Sealed Exteriors.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
I'm Paul Foy, president of Cornerstone Community Bank. Everything we do at Cornerstone is built around you. We understand small business because we are a small business. Have you ever received an email that looked like it was from someone you knew, or been on a website that you thought was your trusted financial advisor? We take cybersecurity seriously. anyone can create a .com address, we recently upgraded our website and email to the .bank domain. It's exclusive to banks and requires rigorous verification, assuring you are really communicating with us, not a fraudster.
That's right, Paul. As Cornerstone's IT security officer, it's comforting to know we also work with a state-of-the-art data center. Their bunker-like facility keeps us running at all times, providing industrial-strength, multi-layered cybersecurity solutions to keep our customers' information safe.
For a partner vigilant about the security of your financial data, visit us at cornerstonecommunity.bank.
Cornerstone Community Bank, built around you. Offices in Grafton, Menominee Falls, and Slinger. Member FDIC.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
All right, Seth, you ready to record this radio ad? Sure. All right, cue it up, Laura. In a world with runaway inflation. What? One company saves you big money.
Wait, hold on.
Super cool, right?
We want people to know they can trade in their AC and save thousands of dollars on a new one, right?
Yeah, Capital's helping you lock in prices now as inflation keeps soaring.
Because your money tomorrow will be worth less than it is today.
Even future inventory is uncertain.
So let's just tell them straight out how much we'll save them.
Up to almost $3,000 in rebates and incentives.
And we're giving you $400 capital cash.
If you buy a full system, AC and furnace, we'll also give you a $500 gas card to help you out even more.
What's more dramatic than that?
True.
Lock it in.
Yeah, lock it in.
Simple. Lock it in.
Okay, I'm just going to take them out. Call Capital Heating and Cooling today to lock in your savings or visit callcapitalcares.com.
It is This Week with Annex Wealth Management. Dan O'Donnell alongside the president and CEO of Annex, Dave Spano. And this, the week after Labor Day, is typically when markets really start moving. Oftentimes, Dave, we'll see what's become known as a September swoon.
That is true, Dan, and a lot of information is out right now. We saw all of the earnings reports, and they were relatively good, but now the earnings season is over. The markets will move to new information. The big story coming up is the Fed meeting on September 20th and 21st when they'll make their announcement. It's not a matter if they will raise interest rate, it is how much they will raise interest rates. Will it be 50 basis points or 75 or even 100 basis points to try to tamp down inflation because they have been late to the game?
Yeah, and this is the thing that is really weighing on investors' minds. Are we going to see rate hikes that could push the nation further into a recession?
That is exactly right. And their concern is that they're trying to get to a soft landing, trying to slow inflation down while keeping positive growth. Or does it cause a recession where we get negative growth again back-to-back quarters? So this is really a recipe for a choppy market over the next 6 months or so. Really important to go through your portfolio and make sure that you're positioned correctly. You can do that position by position by going through that, knowing what you own, why you own it, and how much you're paying for it.
And the place to do that, to get what we call a free wealth metric. It's a review of your portfolio by the people who know best. You just head to AnnexWealth.com. For Dave Spano, the president and CEO of Annex, I'm Dan O'Donnell. Thanks for listening to This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Are you tired of being tired? Go to AdventKnows.com.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
I am so excited to be introducing the Dan O'Donnell Cruise, the first cruise that we are doing, and it is going to easily the most requested place that Cruise and Tour has had. We are going to Alaska. That's right. June 14th through the 24th, 10 nights, 11 days in the beautiful, pristine wilderness. We are going to take off from Anchorage, and 11 days later, we pull into Vancouver. There's an optional pre-extension. You basically do a land tour of Denali National Park and some other things before we meet up with the bigger group in Anchorage. And then we're going to Seward. After a day in Anchorage, we fly in, we'll have a meet and greet. We spend the day in Anchorage. There's an optional tour of the city and some of the surrounding wilderness. And then we make our way by bus to Seward, where we are boarding the Celebrity Millennium. And this is an absolutely beautiful ship. It is one of the nicest in the entire fleet, in fact. And we're going to see glaciers. We're going to see bald eagles, bears, all sorts of beautiful wilderness. In fact, the second day that we're making a stop, we're seeing the Hubbard Glacier, which if you've never seen a glacier up close, and I am not a person who has, this is why I'm so excited. It's awe-inspiring. Then from there, we go to Juneau, Skagway, where we're going to get a history lesson about the Klondike Gold Rush. There's a charming downtown of restored 19th century buildings, the historic railway we're going to take a trip on. Then we're going to go to Icy Strait Point, Ketchikan. Then what I'm really excited about, the Inside Passage. It's in the southeastern part of the state. It's basically a labyrinth of bays and fjords and islands. It's just considered one of the most beautiful spots in America. We are going to see it all. All you need to do to get more information or to book your trip is to go to cruise-tour.com. That's cruise-tour.com. Or you can call. They have staffers standing by at 800-383-3131. 800-383-3131. Cruise and Tour folks will be happy to answer any questions you might have, how to book groups, whatever. This is the way to do trips like this, folks. We did Ireland a couple of months ago, and it truly was the trip of my lifetime. I couldn't have possibly had any more fun. Cruise and Tour makes it so easy. Booking a trip like this, even on a cruise, can be incredibly, daunting. There's so many details. There are so many contingencies. Everything you've got to worry about. Cruise and Tour takes care of it for you. And you're going with like-minded folks. A lot of the people who have been on multiple Dan O'Donnell trips have been good friends. In fact, my own in-laws who went to Ireland are, I think, meeting today. They're hanging out with some of the people that they met on the Ireland trip, and it's just a lot of fun. You really become friends with the people who were on the trip with. It's just, group travel is just a lot of fun, especially when you're going with people as nice, as kind, and as good as the people who have been on our trips. Again, cruise-tour.com, 800-383-3131. On Labor Day Monday, Judge Eileen Cannon ordered a special master to be appointed in the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid. And one of the big reasons that she ordered this special master, what a special master is, for those who have not really been paying attention. I know you're kind of slow to come out of the summer holiday and then Labor Day weekend and so forth. So a special master essentially is an independent person who takes control of filtering through documents. Typically, this happens in cases of attorney-client privilege. And we do know that there were materials that are protected by attorney-client privilege that were seized during the raid at Mar-a-Lago. One of the big reasons that Judge Cannon ordered a special master was of the possibility of leaks coming from the FBI, coming out of this investigation, and within 24 hours, ladies and gentlemen, there was a significant leak coming out of the investigation. The Washington Post this time. I would have thought if I had my money on anyone to get this leak, it would have been Maggie Haberman over at the New York Times. But no, it is the Washington Post which is reporting that material on some undisclosed foreign nation's nuclear capabilities were seized at Mar-a-Lago. Some of the documents seized August 8th detail top-secret U.S. operations so closely guarded that many senior national security officials are kept in the dark, and instead this information only goes to the level of cabinet secretaries. Or perhaps even higher than those, like presidents. You might remember that a couple of days after the raid, it was floated that one of the reasons that they needed to go in, that they needed to raid President Trump's home, that there was such a pressing need to go in, that they couldn't just go through the subpoena process, that they couldn't just go back and forth, the National Archives with the Trump people and this, was that there were nuclear materials stored at Mar-a-Lago. And this was sort of laughed at because it was thought, if these were so sensitive and so top secret, why did the Biden administration wait 18 months? Why did it wait a full year before the National Archives even started asking for Trump to give these things back? It still makes no sense. Whether or not it's the United States or a foreign nation, Donald Trump still retained as president and commander-in-chief the ability to declassify said materials as he saw fit. It is also routine for presidents to retain their own copies of information such as this, and they're stored in what's known as a SCIF, a secure facility, where they're guarded by Secret Service agents. In other words, they're not going to be put up on display at Mar-a-Lago for golfers to take a copy as they walk out onto the course along with a scorecard. Hey, would you like a souvenir divot repair kit? How about some top secret documents? It doesn't work like that, yet we're still under the mistaken impression that it does. I'm still chuckling at all of the top secret documents that were just strewn about on the floor. Remember that picture that came out? Who put those documents on the floor? Was it Trump? Was it one of the Secret Service? No, it was one of the FBI agents who was searching the premises. This is still, folks, much ado about nothing. And since the FBI is almost certainly bound by a long-standing rule not to do anything that could affect a political election 90 days out, we are going to see this over and over again. This is going to be the pattern. Every couple of days, there's going to be another leak. There's going to be more damning information coming out about this raid that proves Trump was endangering national security. When all this is the Biden administration attempting to further this narrative that Trump and his supporters are threats to America based on nothing more than a manufactured investigation.
Conservative thought, not just talk. The Dan O'Donnell Show will be right back.
Hey, if your business survived COVID and you got 5 or more employees, do you know you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of $26,000 per employee? This isn't a loan. There isn't any payback. It's a refund of your taxes. The challenge is getting it. How do you cut through all the red tape and get your business the refund it deserves? Go to getrefunds.com. Their tax attorneys are specialists and they do all the work. There's no charge up front. They just share a percentage of the cash that they get for you. The team at getrefunds.com has already returned over $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you too. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even if you had an increase in sales, you could be eligible too. So don't miss out, because this payroll tax refund is only available for a limited time. Don't miss out. Go to getrefunds.com. No risk, high reward. Getrefunds.com. Snoring, sleep apnea, allergies. Dan O'Donnell here for Sinus and Snoring MD. We both know you're tired of sleeping on that couch. Choose the local ENT experts that'll treat you like family, unlike those big box clinics. Visit sinusandsnoringmd.com.
Spend your weekend with the crew when the Brewers host the Reds for 3 exciting games starting Friday, September 9th.
Willie has joined the party.
Don't miss the season's best giveaway on Sunday the 11th, a truly one-of-a-kind Brewers Giannis bobblehead for the first 35,000 ticketed fans, courtesy of 620 WTMJ. Plus, save 50% on tickets for the season's last 5 County Friday. Get your seats at brewers.com/promotions.
The seasons may be ending, but let me guess, your joint pain isn't. Hey, it's Benjamin Yop. I want you to call QC Kinetics right now. You've put it off long enough. Time to get real, lasting relief from chronic pain in your knees, back, shoulder, hips. QC Kinetics can get you moving again with cutting-edge regenerative treatments. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. Regenerative medicine uses highly concentrated healing properties from your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting breakthrough natural approach to eliminating joint pain. Lots of people here have done this, and they're living their life to the fullest, pain-free. Don't assume the old ways of dealing with joint pain are the only ways. Call QC Kinetics today. Stop putting it off. Call for a free consultation. 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
Today's Dan O'Donnell program is brought to you by Great Midwest Bank. Whether you're ready to buy, build, or renovate, Great Midwest Bank takes the stress out of paying for it. Get started today at greatmidwestbank.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for my great friends at Mander Collision and Glass, which I've been recommending most highly for years because of their expertise, their professionalism, and above all, their customer service, which really sets them apart from pretty much every other body shop. But don't just take my word for it. Sarah says Mander was thorough, friendly, knowledgeable, and quick. Although you never want to have to use an auto body repair shop, I would absolutely recommend Mander. And whether it's body work, windshield repair, or car detailing, you'll get the same service Sarah got, guaranteed. You see, Mander is locally and family owned, so you're a person to them, not a number like you are to a national chain. And Mander now has 4 locations to serve you in Brookfield, Waukesha, Cedarburg, and Heartland. Start your repair today by visiting mandercollision.com and see why Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
The global economic group headed by China and Russia, called BRICS, is dedicated to challenging the dollar. This means the dollar will be further damaged, and along with it, the purchasing power of Americans. This is Stephen K. Bennett. I want to remind you that you can still protect your hard-earned savings from world events. How? By diversifying your 401k or IRA out of paper assets and into physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To claim your free info kit on gold IRAs, simply text the word PROTECT to 989898. It's critical you get this information before the dollar is further eroded and you lose even more of your hard-earned money. So text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation or purchase required. Take action today.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
As performed by Bond, the group of ladies who also do our show's theme song here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, explosive in the bumper music rotation. Just in case you thought you would be able to just get 4 boosters and be done with it for the COVID vaccine. Ashish Jha, the White House's COVID-19 coordinator, said, yeah, we're going to have one every single year in addition to an annual flu shot.
The good news is you can get both your flu shot and COVID shot at the same time. It's actually a good idea. I really believe this is why God gave us 2 arms, one for the flu shot and the other one for the COVID shot.
And we've got 2 legs. one for the monkeypox shot and the other for the disease that we haven't quite cooked up yet at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, which should probably hit long about the time we need more mail-in ballots. Can we just accept the fact that the vaccines are not working nearly as well as advertised? They're clearly doing a lot in terms of keeping people from developing severe symptoms. In fact, so much so that we are basically done with the hysterics over COVID lockdowns and whatnot. Although I still believe we would be in lockdown mode every time there was an uptick in case counts or anything like that if Trump was still president and we still needed to advance some sort of ridiculous narrative about how he's failing the country. But in terms of stopping the spread of COVID-19, it's pretty obvious that COVID-19 is and has been for at least a year or two in the population. And remember, at least Pfizer and Moderna never actually said that their vaccines would stop the spread. This is something that Democrats and the left sort of went on the first time during the Biden administration that they really went in on everyday Americans. Remember Biden's statement, the winter of death, that the unvaccinated, who were presumed to be all conservatives. I actually think that's not correct. The anti-vax movement, when it comes to flu vaccines and the like, has typically been on the left, which is why you would see these pockets of, severe outbreaks of measles, mumps, rubella, that sort of thing, in like Seattle and New York City, heavy populations of liberals. But when the Biden administration was first trying to demonize what it presumed to be conservatives as the hospitals you will soon overwhelm. Remember that ridiculous statement that the White House put out? Well, the vaccine makers never said that their products. Anyway, we're out of time. Back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Talk to you then, right here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.